Did we get Roz Mocha? Are they standing by?
Roz and Mocha join us live. Roz and Mocha are very famous. Everybody talks about them. Roz and Mocha. We could not miss the chance to talk to Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha. Roz and Mocha.
Roz and Mocha.
Brand spanking new show, so if we screw up today, then you can yell at Roz.
Thanks, bro.
Yell at the boss. The boss is the one that let us loose on these microphones.
I'm sure a lot of people thought I was out of my mind.
Two opposites.
When did I become the not fun guy?
Who started from the bottom.
My only focus was going to be to get on the radio.
But my problem was that I had such incredible stage fright. Everything about having an audience terrified me.
And built one of the biggest radio shows in the country.
Sorry.
This is the story they've never told.
The year before we started this show, I was in a very different place in my life. I was a broken person.
A story of friendship.
Are you serious? Oh my God, that's such great news!
So,
my God, look at me, I'm tearing up. That's such great news.
Family.
I love my wife so much, and we're having a kid.
I've said this since the day I met you. You are going to be one of the greatest fathers the world has ever seen.
Oh, thanks, man.
Comedy. And controversy.
All hell broke loose.
The stories about the boycott,
We got a letter from like Jay-Z's lawyers.
I think it would have gotten really nasty.
Basically, they were going to destroy us.
It was a massive deal at the time.
And the pursuit of a shared vision.
For me, the ultimate goal in everything is to just put heart into it.
All the epic moments.
Oh my God, breaking news!
The tears.
No! Are you serious? Oh my God.
I cried a lot.
And damn it, Maury.
Our producer, Maury.
Every time Mocha says his name, it's always, damn it, Maury.
Because he always does something in the studio to piss me off.
I knew that he would be extremely popular on the show.
The waterfall is the most important thing. It's made out of chocolate germs, you know?
A journey of laughter. And the ridiculous.
We're going to be flicking panties.
1, 2, 3,
Flick.
The best there is! The best there was! The best there ever will be!
What? Told by the people who were there.
I guess there's by the book, there was risk.
So that part was good because I would have been heartbroken if you wanted to leave.
I was confident that we could get a deal here. Given that they both wanted him so badly, he had tremendous leverage.
I would say it is a show centered around two people who care deeply about each other, about their families, and about making you laugh.
And by the ones you've never heard on the show until now.
Well, my real name is DJ Climax, and it's official because that's what my mom calls me now.
14 years.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky.
Thousands of shows.
Is Mocha a virgin?
I'm not a virgin.
Are you sure?
And 10 million podcast downloads.
Oh, it's an honor being here. You guys are an institution. I can't believe we got to be in the Roz and Mocha show. Keep doing what you're doing.
All of this for a show that almost never happened.
I immediately said no.
And I was crushed.
He said no.
I felt like the show had already failed, and we hadn't even built it yet.
This is the uncensored.
I don't know how I got the reputation for being the asshole, right?
And unhinged.
Looking back, I was an asshole.
I think that Mocha is far more of an asshole than I am, to be honest with you.
History of Roz and Mocha.
I told you I was gonna do it! All you haters, suck it! Suck it! Suck it! Suck it! Suck it! Walk on!
Mocha and I were tying our lives together, and we knew that whatever family happened, we were going to be tying those together as well. And we were building this thing, and we were going to build it together. And the sort of first piece of that extended family outside of the audience was when my kid Roxy was born. And that brought Mocha and I closer together. And I think it made us better.
I think at that point of the show, the audience, people kind of got to know who we were. I got to know Roz a little bit more because we're spending 5 days a week, 6-7 hours together. And you develop friendship. And I was like genuinely happy. Yo, what up?
Well,
Hi, Roz is a dad.
I am a dad.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you, man.
My God, so am I. I did the show that day, the day that Rox was born, that morning. And then I took some time off, but I needed to do the show. I had like all these emotions and feelings, and the audience had been so much a part of everything throughout that like I had a great story and I just needed to tell it.
Happened yesterday too, so really I shouldn't be here right now.
Yeah. You are a trooper.
I am a trooper. As much as I love being a dad, because it's really, we'll get into it later. It's just so wild, like how everything went down.
The hospital where she was born was right down the street, and Catherine was good, and the kid was good, and they were sleeping. And I remember I woke Catherine up, and I just said, like, I'll be right back. And then I came in and I did the show.
Honestly, I don't even know if I remember him sneaking off like day of, because I was probably completely passed out. I mean, having a baby is exhausting. There was a lot of sleeping happening. And also you're just in this complete fog where honestly, he probably could have disappeared for 2 hours and I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. Nothing went to plan.
At all.
At all.
It never does.
No,
really.
We had plans. Nothing went to plan. But I miss the hell out of you. I miss the hell out of this show.
And honestly, I think I remember at the time being like, good for you, man. Like, I mean, he was operating on zero sleep. It's actually really kind of a blessing he was able to do that when it was so fresh, because I think you give the most honest depiction of what the experience is like when it's fresh.
I remember being shocked that less than 24 hours after Roxy was born, that Roz showed up to work. I'm like, dog, it's your first kid. Like, don't you want to be at home? Or don't you need to be at home? Like, I didn't understand because I didn't have kids at the time. I didn't know, right?
I think I was still in shock when I came in that day to do that show. Like, I have very, very little memory of that show or what I said. But I do know that after that show, everything changed.
Is it like everything you thought it would be, or is it still kind of things that are kind of surprising you?
You know what is, yeah, I'll tell you what is really, really surprising is that because I am 35 and you don't know whether you're going to have a kid or not, you know, and you kind of get to that point of when you get to like 35 or where you're like, you know what, if I don't have a kid, I'll be cool with that. Like, I'll be cool if I don't have a kid. I think the most shocking thing is now I can't understand how I ever even remotely try to convince myself that it was going to be okay to not have a kid.
I think I'm sort of far more of an open book than Mocha is or ever has been.
I'd always been reserved when it came to talking about dating, talking about that aspect of my life.
Mocha was never really open about his personal life, and not just on the air, but like even in the room, like when we weren't on the radio, I never knew much. I had no idea what he did every single day when he left the studio.
The reason I was so reserved is because who wants to hear an adult talk about living in their parents' basement when they could clearly afford to live on their own? Because during that time, I was single. I was working at the clubs every single weekend. We were doing, the Roz Mocha show. DJ Climax and I were doing like mix shows on the radio station, like living this cool lifestyle.
Hi, Mocha. How old are you?
First of all, who the hell is this?
Deborah.
How old are you?
21.
Oh, okay.
Why you want to know that, Deborah?
Well, I'm just curious.
Why?
Well, how old are you?
No, just tell them why you want to know.
Just because you live this, like, amazingly cool lifestyle, I guess. You're free of all responsibilities. I don't know.
Oh, hell
now,
yeah.
You would think Mocha is 17.
And at the end of the day, at the end of the night, I would go home to my parents' basement.
Mocha is very, 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 especially to me, closed off about his personal life. Okay? I don't know what's doing in that guy's basement. I have no idea what's going on down there.
The story became, is Mocha private or is he just boring?
Was I private or was I boring? Could I say I was privately boring?
I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Okay. I realized over the holidays, I know very little about Mocha's social life. Very little. And it hurts me as much as it angers me.
Remember, when we started this, Mocha and I knew very little about each other. And we rarely talked outside of the show. So everything that I learned about Mocha and what he learned about me, we learned like on the radio.
When you're in this business, the bosses of these radio stations or even like consultants will say, like, in order to connect with an audience, you have to relate something from your life open up a little bit, tell personal stories and stuff like that.
Yep.
And in my mind, I'm like, I think that there's still a way to do things to connect with an audience without having to reveal or talk about every single thing that's going on in your life.
I would never force him to talk about anything that was going to make him uncomfortable. Never. I wouldn't do that. But I would put him in a position to explain why.
I think mainly because I wasn't the dude, even though I was going out to the clubs and we're doing these mix shows and living this life, I wasn't the guy that was going home with someone or bringing someone home every single weekend. I wasn't that guy. I wasn't the person that was going out and like hitting on women every single weekend, hoping that something would happen that night and that night only, and then move on. That was just not me, not my personality, not the lifestyle I wanted to kind of portray. And literally, like, nothing ever happened. So there was no stories to talk about.
And I love the idea that Mocha was closed off. And I think the audience loved the idea.
And you're not married.
No.
And your parents have not made a big deal because you're brown?
Now, wait. You mean like my parents haven't made a big deal that I'm brown?
No.
Because you know what?
His parents are cool with the fact that he's brown.
Yeah, because you know what? My parents are brown too. And both my sisters are brown. So, and like my entire family's brown. So I don't think anyone would have a problem with me being brown.
During the time when my parents kept like, hey, when are you going to get married? Or when are you going to date someone? Or when are you going to, think about settling down, having kids? I think that was a time when I was working like crazy. Like 100% of my focus was on work.
I think my parents have given up on stressing and pressuring me to settle down and get married and have kids. Because they've done that for years and years and years. And for all those years, I've kept telling them to back down. Don't worry about it. Mind your own beeswax. I'm good. They've stopped.
I just wanted to make sure that they knew that I wasn't brushing it off, but I wasn't going to focus on it at that time.
I was like, okay, if you're not going to open up, then let's just talk about that then. Let's make that the thing.
Good morning. I'm actually calling to rebuttal Roz and 100% agree with Mocha.
Thank you very much. What's your name?
Nikki.
Nikki, should it not be my choice if I decide to talk about that kind of stuff? Then it will be up to my discretion?
100% agree with you. I'm actually on your side here because I do not want children either, and I could care less if I got married.
I don't care whether Mocha wants kids or not. What I'm saying is that I just clued in to the fact that Mocha says nothing. I know nothing about this part of Mocha's life.
And I think I called him at the time like emotionally unavailable.
No, we just had a thing. Mocha and I have been going back and forth all morning.
Yes, we did. Because you are emotionally unavailable, and that's fine. It's fine.
It's just all things that people do talk about when they are friends, and you've said nothing to me, and it drives me crazy.
Oh my God, being emotionally unavailable. Man, I can't say why did people hang on to that? Because it's funny.
Whatever.
Listen, I need everybody's help. I can't do this alone. If you hear at all, everybody in the audience, Mocha at any time being emotionally unavailable, you got to call the number 416-870-8888 and request the new hit, which is Mocha, Let It Out.
Mocha, you're like a steel trap, so closed off emotionally you need a rap. In the mornings, bro, you never tell us anything. Roz is sitting there, he spills everything. You keep secrets and it must be something juicy. Are you an agent for CSIS or RCMP? I'm pretty sure that we should call up the secret police, cause you're wanted for emotional felonies. Cause it's Roz and Mocha, more niggas 925. Come on, help me, help you, alright.
It gave us something to talk about without actually putting Mocha in a position where he had to share more than he was comfortable with.
Hi, I was just listening to you guys on the radio about that guy with no girlfriend.
Yep. All right, just continue, please. I want to hear where this is going to go.
He's never really done anything with a girl?
No, he's never done anything with a girl.
Oh, wow.
You hit it right on the head. Wait,
shut
listen,
up!
I don't know if there's anybody in our audience who listens more intently to this show than this guy. You absolutely hit it on the head. Mocha has never done anything with a girl, and I think that may be what his hang-up is in his refusal to discuss anything
You guys
relationship
are both
with me.
idiots.
How that all evolved, like the Mocha being closed off, that all evolved into the theory that Mocha maybe was a virgin.
I'm not a virgin.
Are you sure?
I would know if I was or not.
Like, it's okay.
Are you sure? Maybe you don't know.
No, of course I know.
If there's anything I could ever not forgive Roz for saying on the show is putting out the statement that I was a virgin.
Because a lot of young kids don't know if they've lost their virginity. They do stuff and they think maybe they've lost it.
I lost
Maybe.
my virginity when I was like 18.
But are you sure, though?
Absolutely positive.
You know what to do with another human being in front of you, right?
Oh, God.
Maury, get in here.
Stop it. No, Maury, you stay in your room. Don't come any closer.
Did I think he was? No. But did that matter? No.
Because no matter what, like, how was I going to prove? Like, how could I, like, call up the girl and be like, can you tell them? Right? Like, it's so ridiculous. Even if that were to happen, Roz wouldn't let it go. You just say that I was lying.
Mocha is a Mocha is a virgin. Mocha is a Mocha is a virgin. Mocha is a Mocha is a virgin. Mocha is a virgin. Mocha is a virgin. He be acting like a baller, but our Mocha is a virgin. Frontin' like he's working on the ladies like a surgeon. Never talks about any ladies that he done it with. It's fine.
But we were both on board and we planned it out. But I remember I didn't know how this would end. Like, how do you end that accusation like somebody's a virgin?
And just for the record, FYI, right now, my mom is probably like cringing listening to this show at home. Sorry, Mom.
You guys are hilarious.
Is it because her son's still a virgin?
I'm not a virgin!
And it was great. The audience would call in and take my side, or they'd stick up for Mocha. Like, it was really, really great.
I know nothing. I don't know what kind of girls he's into, if he's into girls, if he dates, if he wants to date.
I am into girls.
But I know nothing. You say nothing. It's like I've hit this wall with you, and now that I'm at that wall, I can't climb over it.
Yeah, but maybe he chooses to be that way for a specific reason. Maybe he's not ready to open up to you yet.
But what is the reason?
Well, that's his personal decision. Like, there's walls that people have hit with me, my own family and everything, and they feel the exact same way where they can't get anywhere with me, and that's fine. Like, if he chooses to be like that, then he chooses to be like that, and I think if you were any type of friend, you wouldn't pressure him.
Nope. Nope.
Comedy is always my priority. It's like, is it funny, or how do I make this funny? Those are the questions that I ask like 100 times a day. But underneath all of that, I think that the show, and I really believe this, I think that the show has heart. And I will always try to put heart into everything we do. But I think you can entertain people and build trust at the same time. It's like, we'll make you laugh and then we'll break your heart.
So because I had been focused on my career for so long, and seeing all of my friends get married, have kids, start these families, go off living a life, I thought at the time, by comparison, yeah, maybe I should be doing that. But at the same time, with the way my life was going at the time, I was totally fine with living a life without having any of that. And then I met Jenna.
We actually met at an event.
This was a party during Canadian Music Week.
And we weren't planning to meet, but through a mutual friend of ours, we ended up in the same place and just started talking, and it went from there.
It was one of these industry parties, so a lot of radio people were there, record industry folks.
It was like a radio industry event, so we were both dressed up.
So because I wasn't planning on going to this party, I went to the Bay. And I went to the men's department, and I was like in a panic because I had like 1 hour. And I grabbed like one of the dudes there, and I was like, here's my dilemma. I need shoes, pants, shirt. I need a tie. I need a sweater. And I got this outfit. I wasn't really feeling it. I was a little self-conscious about it. And Jenna will always say that I showed up to this party wearing a sweater vest.
I think he was wearing a sweater vest with a dress shirt underneath and maybe a tie.
when it wasn't a sweater vest. It was like a dress shirt with a tie and a sweater on top.
I am almost positive it was a sweater vest, and I actually think it was like checkered.
Well, I regret that outfit so much. I can't believe she sat there and talked to me for as long as we talked.
Mocha just came across immediately as just somebody that I knew in some capacity was going to be in my life. We just hit it off immediately.
The reason why I fell for Jenna so quickly was just she was kind. She was really, really sweet. I could tell she was loving right from the very beginning. Smoking hot.
I was actually kind of exiting a relationship at the time, and he knows that.
I never asked her any questions. That was like something that was her life. That was, before me.
He also knew that the person I was kind of exiting that relationship with wasn't the nicest to me. And so he just was there at the right time. And he was such a gentleman since day one.
Whatever was happening in her life at that time with that relationship, I felt like, who might ask questions? I was just focused on, in the present, her and I really liked her. I wanted her to like me back. And, we were kind of like on a good path.
Things moved pretty quickly. At the time, I was kind of looking for a new place to live.
And secretly, I should have just said it, but secretly, I didn't want her to live anywhere else other than with me in my condo.
And he was coming along with me. He found something wrong with every single place we went to. And I said to him, listen, I'm going to end up homeless, or right. I need to stop bringing you places.
And as soon as we walked in, I would pick the dumbest thing. The bathroom's way too close to the front door. You really want that? Or oh my God, look at this bedroom. So small. Where are you going to put all your stuff? She was spending a lot of time at the condo, and she was just kind of shuffling back and forth with bags of her stuff.
For weeks, months maybe, I had been living out of a duffel bag.
And because I was a single guy, never lived with a woman before, and just used to having my own stuff, my own space, there was literally no space for any of her stuff.
So I had very much thought that Mocha had lived with a woman before, or was entertaining many women.
Oh my God, no. Not to sound like a loser, but I was not entertaining ladies in the condo.
I'll never forget, one of the first times I was at the condo, I think I was looking for a toilet paper roll. I'd used the end of the toilet paper. And so I was looking for a toilet paper roll, and I opened the cupboard, and there was all this Bath and Body Works stuff. And I was like, that guy couldn't even put this stuff away. Not cool, right?
So for Christmases and birthdays, maybe just my mom didn't know what to get me that year. So it was always Bath and Body Works, hand soaps and lotions and all these different scents that I would never use, but I could never say, Ma, I don't want this stuff. So I would just bring it back to the condo, and then I would just store it under the sink.
He is, I don't know, not metrosexual, but
Yo, she said I was metrosexual? What the? He
believes in moisturizing his skin and...
Okay, wait. This is, oh God.
He's got, a skincare routine, and he's big on fragrance and all of that.
Is it metro when you... Okay, listen, I trim down, right? I trim down. I don't wax. Is it metro when you go and you wax everything, front and back? Everything?
Every inch of his condo, even though it was sparsely decorated, was taken up. The closets were full. The spare bedroom was his studio.
And one day she went to work, and the walk-in closet in the master ensuite had all my stuff in it. And I literally took every single thing off the rack. The stuff that was piled up on the top, the stuff that was piled on the floor. I cleared out the entire closet.
And said, this is your space.
It's yours. Put anything that you want in there.
There may have been tears, happy tears. I think that it was a very nice thing for him to do. I'm not sure where all of his shit went, but it just really showed me kind of who he was, and that he was serious about us and serious about our relationship. And yes, it was only a few months into dating, but it felt right. It did feel right.
With Mocha happy and building something great with Jenna, he finally had an epic love story of his own that he couldn't wait to tell. But with that said, there was just one problem.
Company policy is that you don't date your HR rep. She was still working here. Like, I'm talking like at KISS.
I was the HR representative, the HR professional that looked after, at the time, it was about 50% of the radio stations across the country.
As in, she was like our HR rep, like for the Roz and Mocha show HR rep.
And so initially at work, we were keeping things very quiet. And so we were being introduced to each other by senior people at events, shaking each other's hands.
They'd be like, hey, Mocha, do you know Jenna from HR? Or, hey, Jenna, this is Mocha, Roz and Mocha on KISS. And we were like, yes, like, we live together, but you guys don't know, right? I think that was, you know what, though? It was fun because it was like a secret that we had that we knew.
I'm a professional. He's a professional. We wanted to just make sure that it was a legitimate thing before we kind of put ourselves out there.
Oh, man, we had to keep that secret. I think it was for 3 or 4 months. And almost every day I would, after work, when she was done work, I would actually drive back to the building and I would park around the corner away from like the main entrance to the building. So when she would finish, she'd go through a different door that not everybody went through, hopped in my car, and then we would go for dinner, go to a game, go do stuff, right? Just go hang out or go back home. And then at one point, we're just like, yo, we got to tell people.
Nobody ended up caring, and everybody was just like really supportive and super friendly about it.
And no one cared.
I was so happy that Mocha was happy. It was awesome. But we had this story that Mocha was a virgin. It was so stupid.
I think she just thought and knew that, we were just like idiots. And it was like a dumb thing that was said on the radio that nobody thought would take off the way it did. And then people hung on to it.
I actually don't remember any of the Is Mocha a Virgin. I will say that he never appeared to be a virgin to me. We hit it off in that department very easily and very well.
Please, all you haters out there, you hear that? The champ is here. The champ is here. Ma, you birthed a champion.
Mocha in Love is my favorite version of Mocha. I think that once they were finally public and that everyone knew, you could tell that this was special, that this was it.
I knew I wanted to be with her like a month after I met her. That's when I asked her to move in. And I knew I wanted to be with her shortly after that, like marriage.
Mocha is very different from many of the guys I dated before him in the best way possible.
And I was just so happy. It was like, how could you not want to live like this for the rest of your life with someone who makes you feel this way?
I didn't really know how fast things were moving with Jenna and Mocha. Like, we'd get little updates on the show every now and then, like what they did that weekend or about their vacation. So when Mocha and Jenna announced that they were engaged and announced it on the radio, I think everybody was just blown away.
Sometime last week, I even when I'm on vacation, I go to bed at 11 o'clock the latest. And
lame.
Shut up. And Catherine and I wake up one morning and we have voicemails on our phone. And Mocha called and I started getting worried. And then so Catherine plays the voicemail that Mocha left to me.
First saved message.
Well, I was on vacation this week. You better not be in bed because it's early.
It's 12:30. It's not that early.
Mocha and Jenna, by the way. Drunked out. You just got drunked out.
We had so many bottles of wine, and then there was champagne in the room, and we started making the phone calls. Yes, I remember. Did I call Roz a bitch for not answering the phone when we called? Because nobody knew that I was proposing. Like, especially like my friends, no one knew. I'm pretty sure I called Roz a bitch.
Yo, you're on vacation this week. You better not be in bed, you
To erase this message, press
Okay,
7.
so
To save it, press 9.
So,
I said that?
Yeah, so you don't remember this, do you?
No.
Okay, so Mocha and Jenna were calling around because they had a very big week last week. Is Jen on the phone now?
She is.
All right.
Hello?
Hello.
Morning.
Hi.
Why Mocha and you were drunk dialing all night last week? You were letting people know that what?
We're letting people know that we're getting married.
Yeah!
Pop the question.
Dan Moore, get in here and clap. We need some more hands. All right. That was the first time I heard it. That's how I found out they were engaged. So let's go through this here. Where were you? How did it happen? How did he ask? What went down?
I'll never forget that day. We went up to Niagara on the Lake, and I had everything set up. Oh my God, I was so nervous. So nervous.
So we were out for dinner. We went to a restaurant, a beautiful hotel up there, and little did I know, of course, that Mocha had it all planned out. So I just kind of opened my dessert menu, and inside was 2 pages full of pictures of us and the story of our relationship kind of put into the menu, and it was amazing. And wait, am I telling the real story, babe?
Yeah, tell the real story.
Okay.
Yeah. Jenna was telling the proposal story with us, and she almost left out the part where Mocha cried.
So, like, Mocha's a really romantic guy.
Can I guess why you asked if you could tell the real story? Because at some point you were going to leave out the part where Mocha starts to cry, right?
Mocha's like a super sensitive guy, probably arguably more sensitive than I am. I mean, there were a lot of tears, and most of them from Mocha. And he's just a very sensitive, emotional guy.
So, I mean, he's a really romantic guy. So I just thought, even at that point, like, oh, he's just doing something sweet. Like, this is really nice, until I looked up and he was already, like, full of tears and just completely welling up.
Dusty in there.
Yeah.
I had dust in my eye.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah, he had dust in his eye. It was a dusty place.
I think back then, because it was so early on and people didn't know as much about our lives as they do now, to go on the air so early on and to say that I cried, I think brought my cool factor down just a little bit.
For someone who has always been just so private and closed off with so much of his personal life, I knew this wasn't only like a big moment for him, but it was a huge step.
The decision to share all of that information, the dating Jenna and getting engaged, is because I was truly happy.
And everybody wants the best for Mocha. Like, the guy is just pure love.
You know, I think that over time, we slowly started opening up about our lives.
I think he was really excited to share our pregnancy news with Roz and Maury, and he actually took some time to put some thought into how he wanted to do that. It was important for him to do it. I think he wanted to surprise the guys.
I knew something was up. I didn't know what it was, but I knew there was something.
Yeah, I remember the day I told everyone, shared with the audience, shared with Roz and Dammit Maury at the time, that Jenna was pregnant.
I walked into the studio and I remember that he had set up a camera, and I knew that we weren't set to film anything that day.
I got something for you guys.
Sure, please.
Hold on here. So I'm going to hand you each a piece of paper.
Okay.
That's covered with another piece of paper.
Okay.
And then on the count of 3,
Yeah.
lift up the first piece of paper.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no way. Are you for real right now?
Oh my God, no!
Are you really? Hold on. Let me just get this straight. Let me just analyze this.
my
And
God.
let me just analyze this really, really quickly here to make sure that this is not doctored in any way. What I'm looking at right now is a copy of a tiny little baby, which I can only assume is in Jenna's belly, and you are going to be a dad. Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, my God, bro.
I know.
Oh, my God, dude. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Oh,
my
dude.
God.
I'm
That is
telling
the
you right
best.
now, first of all, it's cool to cry, man. It's really cool to cry. It's absolutely, totally cool to cry. Woo! Dude, I've said this since the day I met you. You are going to be one of the greatest fathers the world has ever seen. You will be, I'm telling you right now, you got the biggest heart anybody ever had in my life.
Oh, man. I don't know. I love my wife so much. And we're having a kid.
I knew Mocha wanted to be a dad, and I knew he'd be a great dad, and family is just everything to that guy.
I don't know that Mocha had immediate confidence that he was going to be a good dad, but I had immediate confidence in him.
Look who's back.
Look who's back. Fresh
Your
to
boy.
death. Still looking good. Still smelling good.
Well, welcome back, Mocha.
Thank you, buddy.
You are a father.
Yes.
I knew that he was going to be a great dad. And whether he knew that or not, I don't know. But he is an awesome dad.
It's the greatest in the world. Like, I hardly got any sleep.
Yeah.
He's all I think about. I would say I feel like my relationship with Roz definitely changed once Cruz was born.
And we did. We got closer.
So our son's middle name is my dad's first name, Vernon.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a little bit, not like a happy shock to my dad.
Sure.
And he just, I could see it in his eyes, like the water start building up.
Yeah. When I hear Mocha talk about his dad, instead of making me feel, sad or awful, like I love it. Right? I love it. I love when Mocha talks about his dad, because they have such a good relationship.
Oh man, my dad was the best. I kind of wanted, Cruz to know and to see that the way my dad was just like a loving father, a loving husband. I think I try to take a lot of that from my father as well. I just want Cruz to know that I am the way I am. A lot of it has to do with because I saw the way my dad was with our family.
I was always on my way to becoming something when my dad was alive, and I didn't really get to any place, right? And so he never saw me on television, and he never heard me on the radio. And I think that the thing that kills me the most is that my old man would have loved this show, right? Like he would have been our biggest fan. I know that, and I think about that all the time when I'm doing the show.
I think coming in to do this show every day, I want to make everybody proud. I want my wife to be proud. I want my son to be proud. And I want my mom and dad to be proud.
I think that Mocha deserves the best because Mocha gives you his best. Everything in life that Mocha does, Mocha gives you his best. He's the best friend anybody has ever had. There's so many people that consider Mocha to be one of their best friends, right? It's incredible.
Having now known Mocha for 12 years, I think he's at a really good place in his life. I think this show, and I'm going to get emotional, but I just want the best for him. And I'm his biggest cheerleader. And, I'm so proud of him. He's accomplished a lot. And wow, I didn't expect this, but he's just such a good person and he deserves the world. That's it.
As the Roz Mocha Show and family grew to new heights, Julie Adam, the driving force and architect behind the show, would be promoted from program director to vice president, leaving Roz Mocha without a boss and the one person they trusted most.
It's funny, you get into a business. I got into radio because I loved music. And then I fell in love with the people, and specifically working with on-air people and creative people and putting shows together and then working with those shows. I just found it so rewarding.
I will never forget the day. It was a shocker, first of all, but I'll never forget the day that Julie called me and said, "Hey, do you have a minute?" I said, "Sure." She told me this announcement's coming out within the next hour or so. And out in the street, I immediately started to bawl.
It was devastating. It really was. It felt like a huge loss. And I think we were both scared. Julie was kind of like she was our champion from day one and had just meant so much to both of us.
To see Roz and Mocha go from kind of a germ of an idea to actually happening to this crazy success story and then being sort of, held up as the gold standard of morning shows. Yeah, it's incredibly rewarding. And I really missed being in there. And it's hard.
As much as Julie wanted the best for us, we wanted the best for her, and she was crushing it. And she had this incredible opportunity to move up in the company, and she deserved it. Like, she deserved all of it. She earned it.
Julie has been with me throughout my entire radio career. Julie is the one who gave me my first shot to get into radio, and quickly became like a great friend and, more importantly, a mentor. Knowing that this constant that was in my life since the very beginning of my career was no longer going to be in the same building as me every single day just crushed me.
I really just wanted to hang around with the team and talk about what goofy things we were going to do the next day, but it wasn't my place. And so as much as I missed that, which I did, I'm really happy that other people got the chance to work with Roz and Mocha in that way, because it's a real gift to be able to work with a show like that day in and day out.
To have that missing in our lives every single day was really hard for me, and another one of those things that that really, really crushed me, knowing that she wasn't going to be here.
So what this meant was, for us anyways, that Julie she wasn't going to be in our day-to-day lives anymore. And she would still oversee the big stuff, contract negotiations and that kind of thing. And we could still go to her if we needed to. But this was the end of an era.
For me to, have opportunities to do new things with my career and also give opportunities to other people to have that shot was really rewarding.
The only thing Julie promised was that she was going to bring in someone who loved the show and someone who we would love. And she did. Karen Steele was promoted from within the station, and she was great.
Roz and Mocha, they're phenomenal. They're absolute rock stars, and they great storytellers, and it's like listening to magic on the radio.
Oh man, Karen Steele was bonkers. She was like a huge fan of the show. Karen Steele championed everything for us. Anytime we wanted to do anything, or even like if we were like causing trouble or something, right? Karen was always the first one to come out and defend us, like fully forefront defend us so we wouldn't have to deal with other people, whether it was within the company, outside of the company. Karen was a huge champion for the show.
Karen loved the show. She loved to laugh. She hated rules, but she was awesome.
My job with those guys was just to make sure, that I would ensure maybe some of the things that they were in a lot of demand. People love Roz and Mocha, and they either wanted to be in the show, on the show, or align themselves with the show. It was just to make sure that anything we did would add to the show, not take away from those guys. And, they're pros. They knew what they were doing.
I know she believed in the show. She was very passionate about the show. I know Karen just wanted us to succeed. Karen wanted us to win and was willing to support us in any way possible.
We were building this great thing with Karen, and just like that, she was gone.
And then again, Julie said she would bring in someone who loved the show and who would be great for the show.
And then we got a new boss, Paul Kay.
Hey, I'm Paul Kay. I was Roz and Mocha's program director in 2016. I think Julie's advice when I started working with them was don't fuck it up.
During these times, we would go these long stretches without a boss, and it brought Mocha and I closer together. And during those times when we were flying solo and we didn't have a direct boss, we became even more protective of the show. And there was just no way that we were going to let someone come in and fuck all that up.
Actually, before I started working with the show, I was always a bit of a fan. They were the show that seemed to make up the rules as they went along. They were the show that we looked at who seemingly could succeed without doing all the basics of radio, without doing traffic, without doing weather, without doing all those fundamentals, and instead just seemed to have created this environment of fun, a little bit of anarchy, and a sense of friendship that really kind of oozed out of the radio.
So at this point, Paul is now our third boss. which to the outside world made it look like we were complete nightmares.
So my first impressions were one of admiration and then one of intimidation. And then actually I was just really impressed with how easy they made great radio sound. And that in itself, I think, is a huge skill. I think you have to be an expert to make the hard things look easy.
He didn't seem interested in figuring out who we were as a show. Like, he knew that already. He seemed more interested in who we were as people and as performers. And I think that that's where he started, and that's what made him different.
This is a show where two people, first and foremost, are talking about things that they find interesting. You know, the old radio cliche, and it's, you know, and it makes sense, but it's find out what the audience are talking about and then talk about that on your show. But I think Roz and Mocha start from the perspective of what will we find interesting? What will make each other laugh? What will make the team around us laugh? And they go in every morning into this, you know, tiny room with a few microphones and just try and make each other laugh.
I think what made Paul so different than anyone else we had worked for was that he came in at a time when the show had hit another level. And so he was the first one to really see how insane the fans were, to see that relationship that we had built up with the audience.
Whenever that show does anything, the audience rallies without even being asked to. It's crazy to me, the amount of attention and involvement they get from their audience. But it goes both ways. Like, Roz and Mocha understand that they are nothing without their audience. They understand that their number one job is to build fans and then look after and nurture those fans.
I always say, or we've always said, he's kind of like in that era of people that we worked with, leaders that we've had here with the show. He's kind of the very last one of the ones that we gelled really, really well with, that we understood each other, that we collaborated amazingly with. He's kind of the last one who aligns his vision for creativity with our vision for creativity.
This show has so much more in it. And I don't even think Roz and Mocha realize how much more they have to offer and how much bigger this show can get. So for me, Roz and Mocha, they're just getting started.
Paul was excellent for the show. Like, he really, really was. We finally had someone who really wanted to do big shit. And he saw potential in us that I don't even think we saw. I don't even think we thought it was possible.
The potential for the show may have been lost on Roz and Mocha, but it wasn't on the industry. And it wasn't long before they got an offer to take the show to another station.
We got our first offer to leave, and it was to go to Virgin Radio, who was our sort of big competitor at the time.
I was kind of in disbelief because I was like, I knew the show was popular. I knew we had fans. I knew people were passionate about the show. I just didn't know the impact that the show had on the industry, because I had never been in a position like this before where you have the competition saying, hey, we want you to leave there and come work for us. For that to happen in such a short period of time that we were doing the show, it didn't make sense to me at all.
If I was on the other side, all I would do is try to hire Roz and Mocha.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very common in our business.
The entertainment industry is all about, you know, the best idea, the best content, the best pairing wins. So it never surprised me that there was interest for them.
I think we expected that they would have inbound offers.
I remember I was in Los Angeles at the Grammy Awards for ET Canada covering that. And that's when the calls came in. And then Mocha and I tried to talk, and then the time changed. And it was the busiest weekend of my life. And, you know, here we were again trying to figure stuff out when I have no time and we're not in the same room or even in the same country. And I'm talking to my lawyer.
Hi, I'm Dominic Romano in New York, and I've been Roz Weston's lawyer for almost 20 years. We didn't get an exact number from the other company, but all they said was, we have deep pockets. We can afford this. We can make it happen.
It was a substantial offer. It was a really, really good offer.
The money part of that offer didn't match my passion and, I guess, loyalty.
This is a show that is very loyal to each other, very loyal to everyone around them, very loyal to the people they work with as well, if you win their respect. But they're really loyal to their audience. The first priority for them is, what will our audience think if we were to take an offer? What would that mean to the radio station? And only after they answered that question did they then worry about themselves.
The next offers that came in weren't actually for the show.
There was one other time it was just for me to leave. It wasn't, hey, we'd like to talk to you about bringing the Roz and Mocha show here. It was, hey, what do you think about leaving the show and coming to this radio station to work with us here? And I turned that down because it wasn't the Roz and Mocha show.
I had two big offers, legendary stations, like two big iconic stations. And it wasn't for the show, though. Like they didn't want the show. They wanted me. And I took that personally. Like, I was offended. I was sort of in shock, but I was also kind of offended. Like, why do you not want this show? Like, how could you not want it?
I think they're one of the best shows in North America, so it doesn't surprise me that that they've had interest. What did surprise me, despite my reluctance to ever be in a position to lose them, was also their level of loyalty.
Thinking about doing this anywhere else just doesn't feel right.
None of these people that had offered us anything knew the show well enough to know that I would be absolutely shit without Mocha.
You know, look, losing Roz and Mocha was never something that was I was willing to do.
Nah, this is it. Like, I'm on the Roz and Mocha show. I want to be on the Roz and Mocha show. Like, Roz is my guy. We're tied at the hip. Like, this is our shit.
And I think what I love most about working with these two is their sense of what should be fair is really high.
We were straight up too. You know, I think that we didn't say we wanted to leave. We didn't try and play the two companies off one another. We knew we needed a new contract. They knew we needed a new contract, but we didn't go into this with it wasn't a battle. We weren't looking for a fight. We wanted things to be worked out quickly.
Whenever Roz and Mocha were approached, we've always sat in a room, the three of us, and talked about what do they want, what do we need to offer them, and that's not just money. That's also about creative freedom. This show gets a lot of creative freedom because it deserves a lot of creative freedom.
It was never about anything other than we loved being here and they loved having us. And so, yeah, it was really the first time where I was like, God, this does feel like home.
Yeah, like this Kiss is home. It's always been home, like from the very start of my career. And I cannot imagine doing this anywhere else. It just doesn't make sense to me. And it wouldn't feel right.
I've always said that, you know, I don't work for companies. Companies get bought and sold all the time. You work for people. And the people we were working for here on the Roz and Mocha show were the ones who brought us in.
Roz is a very loyal person. He could have made more money on another station. He could have made more money in the United States, but he chose to stay for loyalty.
Julie had given me so much in life and had, you know, given me two incredible opportunities when really I needed opportunities or I was going to sink.
Julie is the one who, again, is a person who brought me into this industry, gave me a chance. I feel like it would have been a betrayal if I would have even listened to any other words from the person saying, we want you to come work for us.
I was not in any way, shape, or form going to leave. So it was flattering. It was incredibly flattering. I think that Mocha and I both felt the same way, and that was what we were building was far from finished.
It felt like if we were going to listen to any more words from people on the other side, that we were betraying the people that cared about us. Not the show, about Roz, about myself.
You know, they changed my life working with them. Yeah, I love those guys. So much fun. It'll go down as, you know, one of the best parts of my life.
When Mocha and I started this show, there were hard truths to this business. There have been shows that you've listened to your whole life where the two people who do that show hate each other. And there's so much resentment built up between people who do these shows. And one of that stems from contracts and money. And Mocha and I did something at the very beginning of all of this that shows and people on shows don't do, which is we made sure that our deals were identical.
So there are no secrets. I have zero problem telling Roz what I think or what I want, and we work on that stuff together. There isn't anything that I would ever withhold from him.
I would say that's unusual, and especially unusual, I think, for shows to start that way. You know, and my understanding is that's how they've always operated. I can see later on in a career, shows start getting more aligned and realizing that, hey, we've got more leverage together. But this show has never been about the leverage. It's always been about, we are partners, we're in this together, it's 50-50, and we do everything together. There's no secrets between the two of them.
The core of the contract was something that we knew could never come between us. The only way that shows survive, and the only way that this show is going to survive, is when it came to contracts that we were both on the same page, because we needed to be that on the radio.
I think trust and honesty, especially between Roz and I, in what it is that we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, was like the top thing.
You can't go into separate negotiations where one person is jealous of what somebody else gets or one person is able to get something. You can't do that and do a good show.
It is unusual to have that level of trust. You know, this is going to sound a bit cliche, but it's almost like a marriage. You know, this is a forged partnership where they know that the sum of both parts are greater than any one equal.
If we want it to be great and we want it to be, you know, that thing on the radio, it had to translate to the business as well. There was no option.
Because they believe the fair thing to do is for both of them to be rewarded for the collective output of this show, regardless of who pushes the buttons or who comes up with more of the ideas, who's got more mic time, who has less mic time. Like that sense of fairness that they're in it together is high.
I don't need to be a big name on the show. I don't need to be a voice that's heard every single time we're on the radio.
In order to do a show like this, you have to have the commitment from the person you're sitting across from that out of all the things that can happen and go wrong, the one thing that you have to commit to is to never let the other person fall. And so if it is coming down to it where something doesn't go right or whatever the hell is happening, my job is to help him get out. His job is to help me get out. And I don't think people have that. You know, I've never met anybody that has that.
As long as I know that Roz knows that he could count on me to offer support in anything that we do on and off the radio, if it's a win for everybody.
I've always said that our job is to make somebody's day a little bit easier or a little bit better. And that we don't have to be everything to everyone and we don't have to be all the things. But when somebody's listening and they're in their car and it's the worst part of their day, our job always is just to make their day a little bit easier or a little bit better. And I would say that that's where the show started. And that is the one thing that we've sort of remained consistent with throughout the years.
Coming up on the series finale of The History of Roz and Mocha.
I think the only way any of this was ever going to work is if neither of us took it seriously. And I know I never took it seriously.
I always felt like people who listen to the show favored Roz more. I got a sexy voice too, you know.
Featuring celeb superfans, Grammy winner Alessia Cara.
Thank you so much, Roz and Mocha, for providing so much fun entertainment for people every single day.
Emmy and Golden Globe nominee Stefan James.
You know, it was something that was always entertaining. It was something that was, you look forward to listening to the Roz and Mocha show.
Star of HBO's Yellow Jackets, Kevin Elvis.
I kind of tie the Roz and Mocha show to my freedom. I think about like the world of possibility when I think about the show, really.
Marvel superhero Simu Liu.
Here's the real, all right? These are my guys. These are my guys.
And for the first time ever, an exclusive interview.
Doggy scared me.
With Caillou.
People often ask, is Roz your father? I won't answer this question directly. I'll just be presenting some facts.